Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. In this video we will be covering what would happen if Mal wasn't in All Stars. So basically, what if Scott never hit Mike? If you would like to see more what would happen ifs, please say in the comments. You should also feel free to tell me what would happen ifs you want to see next. So episode 2 won't change in fact. Because Mike can still access Manitoba, the heroes will still win the challenge with a great lead, and even though the heroes might complete the challenge faster, before Lightning has time to miscount, the villains were planning to vote him off anyway. Episode 3 wouldn't change one bit, the villains still lose. And Joe is voted out. Courtney and Duncan will also still switch teams. Episode 4 also won't change with Sam not actually eating all the pancake and him being voted out. Episode 5 finally an episode that changes. At the end of this challenge, Mike freezes as he is switching back to Mike from Mal, but because Mal isn't in All Stars anymore, he won't freeze and therefore, he will cross the finish line and beat Courtney and Gwen. So here was tough to decide, but I managed to figure it out. Because Gwen breaks up with Duncan this episode, she will go up to Courtney and tell Courtney that she'll vote whoever Courtney does as an apology. So Heather will go to tell everyone to vote for Alejandro. But because now Alejandro has no idol to save him, he will be out. He may try and save himself, but even though Heather isn't trustworthy, I think Courtney will trust her more than Alejandro. But because this episode is a team swap, Alejandro will just go on to the heroes team. So for episode 6, even though Alejandro is now on the heroes team, he will still run into Heather, so he will basically still find her idol. Zoe and Mike will still find a basket with loads of eggs, and will still win. So even though Alejandro won't use his idol on Heather, Gwen, Courtney, and Scott are in an alliance-ish, and none of them like Heather anyway, so she is out. Episode 7 Sucker's Punch will change a bit. Zoe will get her 1 point for being MVP in the last challenge. Scott will lose to Fang. Sierra will lose to Cody Jr.'s mother. Alejandro will still beat Jose. Cameron will lose to the Gophers. Duncan won't fight the bird. Gwen will still land on Courtney and they will both get to points. But because Courtney was the only one who didn't spin in the original, because there is only 3 people on the villains team she will have to fight, but the only thing that wasn't landed on in the wheel was the bear. So Courtney will have to fight the bear, which she will obviously lose. But because Mal isn't here to defeat Izzy, I have no way of knowing if Mike, Svetlana, and Vito could do it. But if Mike lost to Izzy, it would be a tie. And because there's no way of knowing who would win a tiebreaker because I don't know what it would be, I'm just going to say that Mike beats Izzy. So now the heroes have to choose who gets taken out of the game. I think it would be Scott. This is because none of them have a problem with Courtney, and everyone is over the boyfriend-stealer thing. And also Cameron. Zoe and Mike don't like Scott, and Sierra does whatever Cameron does, so he's out. The regatta episode won't change, with Duncan still destroys Chris's mansion, so he is out. Also because Mal isn't existing in this universe, he won't rig the votes against Cameron. This means he won't try and frame Alejandro for it. Episode 9 will change. Courtney and Gwen will go the way Courtney and Scott did. Alejandro will go his way. Zoe, Mike, and Cameron will go down the hole Zoe and Gwen originally do. And Sierra follows Cameron, so she will go that way as well. So just like in the original, Zeke will catch Zoe. And even though Courtney and Scott were arguing in the original, Courtney and Gwen don't argue here, but because they will still be in the same area, Zeke will find them. So because Alejandro goes into the way, Cameron and Mike go in the original, without Cameron do break the hole, Alejandro will fall down the hole. So Gwen will save Alejandro. This may start a friendship, but I seriously doubt it. This is because it's Alejandro and he doesn't make friends. So now Gwen, Alejandro, Cameron, Sierra, and Mike will all go off to hunt for Zeke. I don't really know who would win immunity though, because Mike has Svetlana, Sierra is very strong, and Alejandro is also very agile, but in the end it doesn't matter who wins. This is Cameron's first voting ceremony, where he is able to be voted since episode 4, and because Cameron tried to quit in episode 5 in the original, I'm pretty sure he would just quit here. So here I imagine Mike wins immunity. This is because in the original, Mal falls with Alejandro after slowing him down. But here Mike will be Svetlana, and Svetlana isn't gonna listen to Zoe, so Svetlana will take immunity. I also don't think Alejandro will be able to beat Svetlana in an obstacle course, even without all the distractions. So here it's pretty obvious that they would vote Alejandro. So he's out. But he has the immunity idol from episode 6. So he will play his idol. And because everyone voted Alejandro, Alejandro will have the sole vote. And I think it's Sierra. I forgot to mention this in the section before, but Svetlana isn't going to be helping Zoe. So Alejandro won't see Zoe near the finish line. So Alejandro isn't gonna vote Zoe. I think Alejandro will vote Sierra. This is because she was shown to be a strong player in World Tour and he doesn't see Courtney and Gwen as threats. So for episode 11 a lot will change. Because Mal isn't here to sabotage the fire plant. This means Courtney isn't gonna sit and complain. This also means that the bird won't throw up on the ice cream. This means that Chris won't change the challenge to eating your own ice cream. This means whoever gets across the finish line first wins. And it's obviously Mike. This is because he has Svetlana and will easily be able to pass Courtney and Alejandro. Also now because Mal isn't here to reveal Courtney's chart. Nobody will be angry at her, but now it's pretty obvious that everyone is gonna vote for Alejandro and he has nothing to save him, so he's out. So here because Zoe, Mike and Gwen are all still in the final 4, they will all get their original loot. This means Courtney will get the diamond, Gwen will still come back with the painting messed up. So she will still be out. So it may seem like Zoe still wins immunity, but I don't think so. This is because we saw in season 2 that Courtney managed to beat up the sharks. This means that she will probably be able to beat up Fang and get the diamond before Zoe gets the Sasquatch. This means Courtney has to choose between Zoe and Mike. And I think she will choose Mike to go to the finals with. This is because in her chart she stated that she wanted Zoe out as soon as possible. She may consider to get rid of Mike because of his skills. But I don't have any idea if she would do that. So we're just going to stick with the evidence and say she takes Mike to the finale. So the final 2 is Courtney and Mike. Courtney's helpers will be Gwen and Scott, and Mike's helpers will be Heather and Alejandro. Both winners will get alternative endings.